That's the...
When Kura stopped his... Is that where... In the chariot? As far as the chariot went?
I don't know, and then there was a photo of Gurudev and that Jodasi.
Really? I read this. I didn't see it.
We were in Mahavan, now we're in Nandagaon. Right. So he could have a palace in both places, and he does. Okay. Agyanam timirandasya Jnananjana salakaya Chaksurunmilitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Twadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Nama Yang Pravrajantam Manupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahaka Taruajuhava Putre Ditamai Taya Taruvo Banedos Tang Sarvabhuta Hridayam Muni Manatosmi Bhaktya Vinay Aparada Lakshay Chaptasya Kamadi Tarangamadye Kripamayi Tvam Sharanam Prapadyam Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavoivasmi Najivami Tam Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamam Charanantike Angashamalim Chatavirabhito Mandi Kritendi Varam Jadyam Jagurarochisam Bhugadatam Patambarasya Sriya Vrindaranyanivasanam Hridilasad Tamabhiramodaram Radhaskanda Niveshito Jalabhujam Dhyayamadamodaram Dhyayamadamodaram Kripayati Yadi Radha Padita Sheshapadha Kimaparavashishtam Pushtimaryadi Yormi Yadi Vadati Chakinchit Smera Soditasrir Dvijavaramani Pantya Mukti Shuktya Tadakyam Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekhar Smeraha Samurali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripanite Swapriya Charana Kinkari Prananatha Vrishabhanu Nandani Srimukabjara Salola Satapada Radhika Padatale Kritastityam Tambajami Rasikendra Shekhar Sambadaya Dashane Tridam Vivo Prartaye Brajamahendra Nandan Astu Mohantavati Ballabha Janma Janmani Madhiswari Priya. First, I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Astotra Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful Diksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad. Asto Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti began Bharati Goswami Maharaj. To our grandfather Guru Sri Srimad Bhakti Pragan Keshava Goswami Maharaj and Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all his divine associates, and to all the assembled devotees. Where did she go? Not today. So today, here we are at Gopinath Bhavan, and we are taking a bus today. So let's jump on the bus. It's a new bus, but in Vrindavan it might as well be a rickety bus because the roads are so rickety. So we're going to Nandagaon today, the place of Nanda Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Go up, Premanandi. Thanks, that was a good drive, Vasanti. You're a good driver. So here we are at the Royal Palace. We already visited his Royal Palace yesterday in Mahavan. But then they moved to Nandagaon because there were too many demons in Mahavan. So we are arriving now in the palace of Nanda Baba, the king of Braj. This village is the source of happiness because Nanda Rai, Nanda Maharaj, Rai means king. Upananda, Abhinanda, Sunanda and Nandana. And they have two sisters too, Nandini and Sunanda. Nandagaon is situated 16 miles north of Govardhan. The parikrama of Nandagaon is 4 miles. So I know you feel strong today, so that's what we're going to do. There are 56 ponds, 357. I'm not on a page, we're actually there.
I'm catching up. I'm running.
Okay. There is 56 ponds here related to Krishna's various pastimes. And it takes about 3 to 4 days to have darshan of them all, but we're going to be doing it in an hour or a little more. So, Mahadev, Devadideva Mahadev Shankar, he pleased his wonderful deity, Sri Krishna, and asked for the boon to have darshan of Krishna's childhood pastimes. So Krishna ordered him to situate himself in Nandagaon in the form of what? In the form of a hill. And then Krishna's pastimes would take place on that very hill. So he became Nandiswara Hill. He then waited for the arrival of Krishna to come to fulfill the desire of the exalted Vaishnava, Sri Shankar. Krishna performed his sweet childhood pastimes, Balya Lila and Poganda Lila, on Nandiswara Hill, along with the Brijbasis like Nanda Baba, Jashoda Maya, and their Gopa friends. At the end of Dwapara Yuga, there lived a sage named Devamita. He had 2 wives. Ready to take notes? There lived a sage named Devamita. He had 2 wives, one from a Kshatriya family and one from a Gop family. Surasen was born from the Kshatriya wife, and Parjanya Gop from his Gopa wife. So Parjanya Gop is the father of Nanda Baba, and so that means that Devamita is the grandfather of Nanda Baba and the great-grandfather of Krishna. Parjanya Gop maintained his life by agriculture and rearing cows. He lived near Nandiswara Hill with his wife, Varyasi Gopi. And here we see, we are there. Here we see the whole hill with Nandagaon on the hill. So now we're entering the compound. And we walked up the steps. Do you see us walking up the steps? And now we see it holds many delightful pastime places. Sri Raghupati Upadhyaya glorifies Nanda Baba and his compound in very sweet words. Shrutamapare smritamatare bharatam anye bhajantu bhavapayi bhita aham iha nandam vande yashalinde padam brahma. Those who are afraid of the perplexities of worldly life worship the Shrutis, the original Vedic literatures, and the Smritis, the scriptures written in pursuance of the Vedic version. And others may worship Mahabharata. Let them do so. I myself will always worship Nanda Baba, in whose courtyard the supreme absolute truth is crawling, here and there on his knees. So then Nanda Bhavan, entering Nanda Bhavan, Nanda Baba's residence. To the south, adjacent to Nandiswara Hill, are a few ruins of the staircase of Nanda Bhavan. His residence was extensive, with separate bedrooms for everyone, including Nanda Baba, Mother Yasoda, Mother Rohini, Krishna, and Balaram. It had a kitchen, storeroom, dining hall, can you see it all? Dining hall, as well as resting rooms and other rooms for Radhika and Krishna. Here, Krishna and Baladev, not resting rooms for them together, don't get Gurudev wrong. Separate, because when Radhika cooks, then she's also resting. Here, Krishna and Baladev perform many of their childhood, boyhood, and youth pastimes. Daily, at forenoon, Srimati Radhika used to come here from Javat with her sakis on the zealous and loving requests of Mother Yasoda, and with great delight she would prepare many tasting foodstuffs, like many means like unlimited, thousands, for Krishna together with Mother Rohini. They all cooked together. They cooked together. Rohini cooked as well. Krishna used to eat with his sakas, thousands of sakas, in the adjacent large dining hall, and then rest in the bedroom. You know how you digest and rest after prasadam? So that's what he would do, situated 100 steps from the dining hall. Then we don't want to miss Radhika's resting place, which is right here. After completing her cooking, she would, on the request of Mother Yasoda, take prasadam mixed with the remnants of Krishna. So what does that mean, take prasadam that was mixed with the remnants of Krishna? That means it was all prasadam, it was all offered to the deity, but some of it came exactly from Krishna's, not only from Krishna's plate, but from Krishna's mouth. He pretended he didn't like it. Oh, that doesn't taste good, just to get it on the plate. The remnants of Krishna that the Nistasaki would bring. Mother Yasoda then invited her to take rest in this garden. At that time, the Sakis used to arrange for her secret meeting with Krishna. So this place is called Radha Bagh, or Radha's Garden. We also have a Radha Radhabag, right out here, right out there from the temple. We can call it Radhabag, Radha's garden. Every day, Mother Yasoda used to decorate Ram and Krishna in different ways, thus preparing them to go to the forest to graze the cows. She would send them and the sakas off from right the spot where we are. So let's bow down and roll in the dust here. Ram and Krishna, the best of dancers, traversed this very path where we are now. We've been walking gradually, along with their friends, to go cow grazing.
Did you vacation on, or where, I mean, what room are you in?
We are now outside.
Okay, you haven't seen the deity yet?
What?
You haven't seen the deities yet?
No. But we have seen Nandiswar Mahadev in a little temple. You all saw him? So let's bow down to him. He's like the best Vaishnava. Vaishnavanam Jita Sambhu. As the Ganges is the best of rivers, the Bhagavatam is the best of books, so he's the greatest Vaishnavas. I'm quoting 4th canto, Bhagavatam. He helps Krishna in every single way. Creation, maintenance, destruction, holding up his little village, every way. And then, there's so many pastime places that there's a pastime place even where Mother Yasoda used to put Radhika on her lap before seeing her off to Javat with tearful eyes. She loved her at least as much as she loved Krishna. And then, of course, every day Mother Yasoda would churn yogurt. So let's take a few steps, and here we are at that very place. To this day, one can see an enormous yogurt pot here. Now, Purnima used to come with Ambika. Ambika is Mother Yasoda's, Krishna's wet nurse when he was a baby. And she would come, Mother Yasoda, Ambika, Purnamasi, and one other elderly gopi would come into Krishna's room. Purnamasi would give him blessings. Mother Yasoda would wake him. So there's an arrival path of Purnamasi where we're standing now in order for her to have darshan of baby Krishna. And then, of course, let's go to Nandakund. Nandakund, here we are. It looks quite green. And so we're whisking away the green stuff, algae, and doing achman here, jumping in the water of Nanda Baba, where Nanda Baba bathed, swimming around, coming out, drying off, and rolling in the dust after we've dried off. So this Nanda Kund, it lies a short distance to the south of Nanda Bhavan. Here, he used to bathe, chant his regular mantras, and perform his other morning duties. Even though he's God's father, he's followed all the rituals. And he would also bring Krishna and Balaram to this kund so that they could bathe too. In the temple, on the bank of the pond, there are attractive deities of Nanda Baba with his children, Krishna and Dauji, sitting on his lap. So now we're here, we can bow down to Nanda Baba, Krishna, and Balaram. And Giriraj is also here. So even though these are not three-dimensional deities, still Gurudev calls them deities because the deity can be made out of metal or paint. Now we definitely want to go to Nanda Baitak. That's where Nanda Baba used to sit and have discussions about what? Krishna's welfare. Huh? You didn't see Thakurji? I thought that those were the deities. Nanda Baba's in the middle. There's red curtains on the side, two sides, and there's Krishna and Balaram on his lap. So those are deities. And then Baba used to meet with his family members and other villagers, elderly villagers, to figure out the best path of activities for Krishna's welfare. His elder and younger brothers, as well as the elderly gopis, priests, and so on. It is called Baitak because they would sit here together for discussions. And then we're going to have our Baitak after class today. Baitna. Baitna means to sit. If you come to somebody in India's house, Betchaye, please sit. Nanda Maharaj has several Baitaks in the 84 koshas. How much is a kosha? A kosha is what? 16 miles, or 16 koshas equal a mile, of Braj Mandala. Wherever Nanda Baba used to reside with his cows, gopas, gopis, and others is called Nandagokul, and there used to be periodic meetings because so many demons used to come. Thus, other such Baitaks include Choti Baitan and Badi Baitan. The following pastime refers to this kind of Baitak or assembly. Krishna was 7. Do you all see this place? We can all bow down here. Yeah. We see devotees here, like about 200 devotees. Now let's jump back 5,000 years. 7-year-old Krishna held Giriraj Govardhan for 7 days on his little finger and thus smashed the pride of Indra. The astonished elderly gopas called an assembly. Upananda was the eldest brother of Nanda, so he was the chairman of the meeting, to which Nanda Baba had been called. He's been called to a meeting. The elderly gopas expressed their opinion to Nanda Baba that Krishna is not an ordinary boy. Soon after taking birth, he killed a terrible Rakshasi. The Rakshasi means a human eater, as if he were simply a plaything. He killed that Rakshasa as though she was a plaything. They said afterwards he killed Sakatasura, Trinavarta, Agasura, 12-mile-long demon, and many others. He subdued the terrible snake Kaliya and sent him out of Kalidaha. Kalidaha is a little lake within the Jamuna, and within that there's an island, and Kali used to live there. Just a few days ago, he held a huge mountain, Giriraj, on his little finger for 7 days and saved Braj from the heavy downpour rain and raging storms. These are not the activities of an ordinary boy. It seems to us that he must be a perfected, liberated soul. Or maybe he's a demigod. Or maybe he's Narayan himself. It's not proper for us to consider him to be the son of Nanda and Yashoda, to chastise or threaten him. Like once Nanda Baba said to Krishna, "Oh, I hear that you're God. Well, here, take my worship." It's not proper for Nanda and Yashoda to call him thief, willful, impertinent. Everyone should deal with him lovingly and respectfully. All the gopis present heard this statement with much gravity, and together they cautioned Nanda Baba. So Nanda Baba burst out laughing and dismissed their words. "Respected gentlemen," he said, "I've heard your statements, but I did not see even the slightest demigod-like symptom in him, nor any symptom of supreme godliness. I have known him from his very birth. Does Bhagavan feel hunger or thirst? This boy cries 50 times a day for bread and butter. Does Bhagavan steal and tell lies? This boy goes to the homes of the gopis and steals their butter, speaks lies, and makes so much mischief. The neighboring gopis play games with him and make him dance like a handful for just simply a handful of buttermilk and a laddu. Not laddu, laddu. Whoever he is, he has taken birth in our home as our son. Therefore, it's our duty to raise him to become an ideal man of excellent conduct, who possess all good qualities. That said, there is one thing we should remember. At the time of Krishna's name-giving ceremony, Maharshi Gargacharya predicted that this child of ours would have qualities like those of Lord Narayan. This explains everything. Assemblies were held to discuss Krishna's well-being, his betrothal, his betrothal, and other such matters. Then let's offer obeisances here, and let's go to Jashoda Kund, where Jashoda took bath daily. It's situated, they even have their own ponds. What to speak of own rooms. Sometimes she would bring Krishna and Balaram along and joyfully watch their childhood games. After bathing, she would pray for Krishna's well-being to Nrsingadev in the temple on the bank of the pond. An ancient cave where many great saints have performed sadhana and attained the Supreme Lord lies at a secluded place right near where we are now, Jashoda Kund. So let's do Achman here. You know how to do that. Let's jump in, swim around, because Krishna and Balaram also swam here, Mother Yasoda too, every day. Come out, dry up, and then roll in the dust. To this day, this place, where perfected great personalities have performed their bhajan, attracts sadhakas who are completely unattached to material life to come here to perform bhajan. But you know, just like Krishna's tricky, Mother Yasoda is pretty tricky too. So let's go to Halbalau, where Mother Yasoda exhibited her trickiness. And here we are on the western bank of Jashoda Kund. And let's roll in the dust here. Let's put our heads to the stone statues of Halbalau. Here, the brothers Krishna and Balaram became so absorbed in their childhood games that they even forgot to go home to eat. Yasoda Mai first sent Rohini to get them, but as Rohini approached, they ran away, frustrating her attempts to catch them. Jashoda then went herself. She would employ various tricks and with great difficulty bring them home, where she bathed and fed them. Sometimes, when they wouldn't come, she told them about the how, or hobgoblin, and filled them with fear. She would then catch Krishna in her arms and bring him home. Once, Krishna insisted on seeing the how. Maya, I want to see the how. The following Brajbasi poem tells a delightful pastime. See, Mother Yasoda would call Krishna, come on home. And then she would look back beyond them, pretending to see the hobgoblins. Oh no, it's the how. And she'd start running. And then Krishna would get afraid, and Balaram, and then they'd start running after her. There was nothing there, was her trick. So Here's the poem. Do not go far away, my child, the how has come. Krishna smiled and asked Maya who had sent them. Even today, the stone figures of the how here are a reminder of the sweet childhood pastimes. Now, Panihari, Kund, or should we go right to Charanabihari, Charanapahari? Let's go to Charanapahari. No, Panigat is important. So Pani, Hari, Kund, and here we are. And let's offer obeisances here. The Brajbasi used to drink the pure and sweet water of this pond, and the Gop-Ramanis, the young gopis, would come here to fetch water. Therefore, this pond is also known as Pan-Gat Kund. A Pan-Gat is a place from which water is taken, like a well, river, or pond. Krishna would come to Pan-Gat not to drink water, but to secretly meet the gopis. And they too would eagerly make their way here to secretly meet Krishna. While drawing water, they would become so absorbed in looking at Krishna that they were unaware of whether they had filled their pots or not. The pot of their hearts, however, would at once become filled with their beloved. And there's another deep secret behind Panigat. Panigat. The gopis would come here remembering Krishna's promise, or Pan. There's a lot of meanings of Pan. Pun. Pun means promise. I will certainly meet you there. To fulfill his promise, Krishna ensured that he was present here, waiting for them. Thus the pun, the keeping of the promise, or drawing of water, of both Krishna and the gopis, would be fulfilled here. Now we're going to go to the famous Charna Pahari. Pahari means like a little mountain. And Charana means footprints. So we're going to go and personally see and touch Krishna's footprints, which are embedded in the rocks. So let's go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And here we are. Let's offer obeisances. So this place is situated west of Nandagaon. During cow herding, Krishna played his flute on this hill called Pahari to assemble his hundreds of thousands of cows. Did you get that? Hundreds of thousands of cows. By the tender and sweet sound of his flute, this hill melted and became marked with the impressions of his footprints. Hence, this hill is called Charana Pahari. On Kamsa's order, the great devotee Akrura came to Nandagaon to bring Krishna and Balaram back to Mathura for the purpose of being killed by various demons there in Mathura. When he saw Krishna's footprints, that is Akrura is Krishna's uncle. So everybody was under Kamsa there then at that time. You have to be, or otherwise you'd be tortured. So he was there, but he loved Krishna, Balaram, and the whole family. So when he was ordered by Kamsa to go to Vrindavan to bring Krishna back, he was delighted. Wow, I get an opportunity to see Krishna have darshan. So when he arrived here at Charana Pahari, everywhere he could see Krishna's footprints. And everywhere in the sand nearby, he became filled with ecstatic emotions and began crying and rolling around on Krishna's footprints in the sand near this place. To this day, devotees become ecstatic upon seeing Krishna's footprints here. But of course it's different. It's not in the sand, it's in the rocks. All right, so let's all become ecstatic, start crying, and rolling on the ground. Good. Okay. And also there are posts near here for binding the cows, where Krishna used to bind the cows. He had 2 ropes. Venugit, the gopis are saying, Krishna has 2 ropes. One, he ties in winds around his turban, and the other rope he puts on his shoulder. And so one rope is for binding cows, the legs of the cows, so that the calves could be milked. In the ropes are in. Wait, you have to go to Venugit. Okay, so one, you can see his right shoulder. Do you see looks like pearls hanging down from? It's like a golden silk rope with pearls on the bottom. And then the other rope, if you look hard, you can see them around his turban. See? Does everybody see? You're not there yet? Are you there?
Looks like his pitambar.
His pitambar? Yeah, it's hanging over his pitambar on his shoulder. That thing that looks like a string or a rope, that's one of the ropes. Oh no, the garland is lotus flowers. More and more get revealed to Vasanti Devi Dasi as she chants the Maha Mantra. And if you can see, the other one is white and it's in his turban. So the one that's over his shoulder is for lassoing the cows when they run here and there. And he has to bring them back. And the other one is for binding the feet of the cows so that the calves can drink their milk. And you can still see the stone posts if you look hard. And wow, we're so lucky we get to go and visit Vrinda Devi today. It's some distance north, so let's run fast. Some distance north of Chadanapahadi is the Kunj of Vrinda Devi. Beautiful flower, full of leaves, vines, Kunj. She resided here at the time of Krishna's manifest pastimes. From here, she would arrange the meetings of Radha and Krishna in the Kunjas of Sanket and other places. Sanket is the name of a meeting place, but it also means general meeting place. Sometimes she would consult with Yogamaya. Actually, Vrinda is an expansion of Yogamaya. Yogamaya controls everyone and everything, all over Braj, and Vrinda controls the kunjas, for the amorous pastimes. Sometimes she would consult Yogamaya Purnima, and on her instruction, she would arrange the meeting of the divine couple by employing its ingenious trickery. Here lies the pond of Vrinda Devi. Can you see it? She wears beautiful, well, you'll have to see it in your meditation then, in your internal swarups. And she's decorated with beautiful clothes and many kinds of ornaments. I think she's dressed in red. She has red lips, bimba fruit lips. She has a pearl hanging from her nose, and she wears many ornaments. Tulsi, here the plant, Tulsi, is the worshipable form, Archavatara, because we worship Tulsi. So she's the worshipful form, Archa Avatar, of the original Vrinda Devi. Krishnas did not accept any offering of foodstuffs without tulsi leaves or manjaris. That's why we always do it. Near Vrindakund in the east is Chodo Kada, which is also called Charana Kunda. Near this pond are Rohini Kunda, Mohini Kunda, the post for binding cows, and Nanda Baba's cowshed, and Dohini Kunda. Very, very important on our visit to Nandagaon is Pavan Sarovara, very famous. It has so many steps down. A lot of times we would sit with Gurudev and he would tell the pastimes here. This is north of Nandagaon. When coming down from Nandiswara Hill, it's situated on the side of the highway that leads towards Kamyavan. No highway then. The custom is to bathe in this lake before taking darshan of Nanda, Jashoda, and the others on the crest of the hill. It is said that Pavan Gop, the father of Vashaka Saki, constructed this sarovara or pond, thereby giving its name. When Krishna and his friends would return from cow grazing, they would bring the cows here to drink. At that time, Krishna would call out, "Niri, Niri," and signal the cows to enter the pond. Then he would call, "Chun, chun," which makes them drink. We have to memorize this. What is chun, chun? Drink, drink. And what is neri, neri? Come, come to the pond. And tiri, tiri. Now come back to the bank. So tiri, tiri is what? Come back. Chun, chun. Drink. And neri, neri. Come, come to the bank. To the water. The boys would satisfy the cows by having them drink water in this way before returning them to their resting place in the cowshed. The boys would then go back to their respective homes. The Brijbasis would also bathe in the fragrant and pure water of Pavan Sarovara. Krishna used to bathe here and frolic with his friends. On the far other bank, Radhika used to bathe and play in the water with her Sakis. So sometimes Krishna would dive from his bank and swim underwater like a crocodile. And then he would grab the feet of Radhika on the other side. In this way he played with them. Maharaj Vrishabhanu had a beautiful palace built for his daughter, Srimati Radhika, on the northern bank of Pavan Sarovara. She played many games with her Sakis in this place, from which she could very easily have darshan of her beloved Krishna. So now let us do Achman here. Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha, Om Vishnave Namaha. Let's jump in and swim around and look for Krishna underwater and look for Radharani's lotus feet underwater. Then let's come back and dry off, offering our obeisances. And it so happens that as you go up the steps, the ghat, the steps from the pond, if you're going up from the pond on the steps, on the right side is Sanatana Goswami's Bhajan Kutir. Sometimes he would perform bhajan here. He performed bhajan everywhere in Braj, so as to remember the sweet pastimes of Nandagaon. And sometimes he would go to associate with Srila Rupa Goswami at his Bhajan Kutir near Tirkadamba. Tirkadamba is halfway between Yavat and Nandagaon. So Rupa Goswami also used to come here to meet Sanatana Goswami. Are we there in his bhajan kutir? Huh? We're there? All right, let's bow down then. Take the dust of the floor. So many Gaudiya Bhaktas come here to do their bhajan. Once, in the forest here, Sanatana Goswami was very distressed in separation from Krishna. Restlessly crying for Krishna's darshan, he went without eating and drinking for 3 days. At that time, he had no bhajan kuti. He just lived in the forest, here. Then, he saw a cowherd boy carrying some milk in a clay pot and said, the cowherd boy said to him, "Why are you hungry and thirsty? Nobody remains hungry and thirsty in this place. My mother saw you in this condition, and she has sent me this pot of milk for you. You must drink it. I will return later and collect the pot. Listen, my mother has also said that since it distresses the Brijabasis to see you here in the forest like this, you should make a hut here and live in it." Saying this, the boy left. Sanatana Goswami drank the milk and immediately became restless and ecstatic Krishna Prem. He already had Krishna Prem, but now it just increased. He cried bitterly, calling out, "Oh Krishna, you gave me darshan, but you cheated me." Although remaining invisible to Sanatana Goswami, Krishna pacified him and had a bhajan kuti built for him through a Brijbasi. He didn't have to build it himself. Sanatana Goswami remained in this bhajan kuti and performed bhajan. Nearby is a temple of Pavan Bihari. The Brijbasis in this village bathe in this sarovara in the morning and then take darshan of Pavan Bihari. Let's see. Do we see Pavan Bihari? No.
Balabhacharya's sitting place, is that?
Yeah, we do see, though. We see Balabhacharya's sitting place, where he recited Bhagavatam for 1 month. In the west of Pavan Sarovara is a Kadamba Kandi. Beautiful, beautiful Kadamba trees everywhere. All right, let's run to Moti Kund, or Mukta Kund. Here we are at this charming pond. Let's offer our obeisances here. And it's surrounded by Kadila and Pilu trees. While cowherding with his friends, Krishna used to bring the cows here to drink. He and the Sakhas also drank water here and performed many pastimes together. Once, Krishna planted pearls here and produced an abundant crop. Well, there's no more information about that. Oh yeah, here it is. It's more history on that. Why did Krishna plant pearls? Pearls don't get planted anyway. Pearls come from the ocean. But Krishna planted them. When Krishna passed from childhood to enter youth, Yasoda began to think about his betrothal. Let's see, who am I going to have marry Krishna? She was particularly inclined towards the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, Kishori Radhika, who was endowed with all good qualities. Kirtida came to know that Yashoda was thinking about that, and after discussing it with her husband, Vrishabhanu, they sent many varieties of cloths. They're thinking it's going to happen. That would ruin everything. After discussing it with her husband, Vrishabhanu, they sent many varieties of cloths and ornaments together with a basket full of pearls to Nanda Bhavan for the engagement. Rajaraj Nanda and Rajarani Yasoda became overjoyed, but it also caused them anxiety because custom demanded that they send an even greater quantity of pearls to Varsana in exchange for the engagement gifts. But they simply did not have that many pearls in the house. So when Krishna entered the house, he saw that his parents were in anxiety, and he asked them why. So Yasoda explained the situation to Krishna, who simply said, "Don't worry, I will quickly arrange something." At an opportune moment, Krishna quietly took all of his parents' pearls, dug a field near this pond, and planted them. Every day he irrigated the field with cow's milk. When Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya could not find the few pearls that they did have, they became even more concerned and asked Krishna if he knew where they might be. "Yes," Krishna said, "I have planted those pearls where they might be." No, I'm sorry. "I've planted those pearls, and very soon there will be many more." Hearing this, Baba and Maya explained, "Oh Lala, dear darling son, has anyone ever farmed pearls?" Krishna smiled. "Yes," he said, "and when my pearls sprout and fructify, you will see this for yourselves." Surprisingly, the pearls began to sprout after a few days, and lush green plants emerged. A few days later, those plants bore fruit, and when these fruits ripened, radiant and splendid divine pearls began to manifest. Now there was a great abundance of pearls. Krishna gave a large amount to his mother, who was able to fill 3 or 4 beautiful baskets with pearls, golden ornaments, and clothes, and send them to Varsana to confirm the betrothal to Radha. When Radhika and her Sakis heard that Krishna had planted pearls and reaped a huge crop, they asked him for some. However, Krishna flatly refused. "When I requested some milk from you to irrigate my pearls, you refused to give me any. Now I will decorate my cows and ornaments made from these pearls, but I will not give any to you." Vexed, the gopis stole pearls from their own homes, dug a field, and planted them. Although they irrigated the field with cow's milk for many days, the pearls didn't sprout at all. Only thorny bushes sprouted that were completely devoid of any fruit. So the disappointed gopis returned to Krishna and narrated the whole story to him. So Krishna smiled and said, "Come, I want to see your pearl field myself." Krishna went there and uprooted all the thorny plants. Then he planted his own ripened pearls and irrigated the field with cow milk. Within a few days, these pearls sprouted and also bore pearls, filling the gopis' hearts with joy. But do you know why their pearls sprouted only thorn bushes? Because Krishna sent Madhu Mangal to uproot all the good stuff and put in the thorny bushes. So Pulvari Kund. So let's offer our obeisances at Mukta Kund and run to, because remember, most people take 3 or 4 days to accomplish this, but we run so fast. So right near Muktakund is a dense grove of kadamba trees. One day, Sri Radha and her Sakis were picking flowers here when Krishna suddenly arrived and said, "Who are you? Every day you steal my flowers from my garden." Hearing this, Radhika rebuked him. "You don't know who I am?" Saying no more, Krishna placed his flute to his lips and began to play, casting charming glances at Radha as he walked away. The very sight of Krishna leaving greatly distressed Radha, who fainted in separation. Lalita thought that Radha had been stung by a black serpent. When she didn't regain consciousness after several attempts to revive her, the Sakis became very worried. Just then, Krishna arrived disguised as a doctor who cures one of snakebite. He removed the effect of the poison by chanting mantras and whispered in Srimati's ear, "I have come, just see." That was the mantra that revived her. Hearing this, Radhika immediately sat up. She smiled to see Krishna nearby, and an ocean of bliss welled up in the hearts of the gopis. This pastime took place here. Oh, but so why didn't, if there was such a nice exchange of pearls and ornaments, why didn't the marriage happen? Everybody agreed. Radhika's parents, do you want to stand up? Haribol, Avyakta, want to stand up? Would that help you? Okay, so everybody agreed. Why didn't the marriage take place?
Because of the weeds?
What weeds?
Where planted the pearls and they didn't grow up.
No, it's because they called Yogamaya, who's an astrologer, Purnamasi, and she looked at their charts and said, "This will never work."
Wow.
Anyway, so Krishna came, removed the effects. And so everybody became happy. So right in between Nandagaon and Yavat is Ter Kadamba. This is a most holy place. The place of Rupa Goswami's Bhajan Kutir. And the place where Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami would discuss all day Radha and Krishna's pastimes. The place where Rupa Goswami would write the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And when the meeting took place, all the trees there became happy and all the flowers blossomed on the trees. And when he was writing the pastimes of separation, all the flowers would fall down and trees would become bare. So everybody participated in his writing, all the creatures. This is also one of the places of Radha and Krishna's Rasa Leela. So there's a platform here, can you see it? Like a round mandali stone platform. While grazing the cows in the afternoon, Krishna used to climb this kadamba tree and call Shamali, Dawali, Pitambari, Kalindi, his other cows, with his flute. Hearing Krishna's call, all the cows would assemble here immediately, and Krishna would count them on. He had japa beads too, because he would call the cows. So he would count them on his jeweled necklace to make sure all the cows were there. If some cows were missing, he would again call their names by sounding his flute, and only when they were all assembled would he go home with everybody. So now let's circumambulate. Let's offer our obeisances to Rupa Goswami's Bhajan Kutir. We can see his sitting place here. He is our leader of the leaders. And then let's circumambulate his bhajan kutir with Srila Gurudev and the other devotees. Sometimes, in the gentle light of the full moon night, Krishna would climb on this kadamba tree and call the Sakis by playing their names on the flutes. Isn't that amazing? Radha. These gopis would forget their bodies, minds, and worldly cares. All we have to do is hear the flute, and everything is be fine. Arriving to meet Krishna in a spellbound condition. They would then perform ras with Krishna, which would be full of singing and dancing. Since Krishna climbed a kadamba tree, and with his call, ter means call. He would call the cows, he would call the sakis. He gathered the cows and gopis, so this place is known as Ter Kadamba because he went up on a kadamba tree. And this place is also full of kadamba trees. But now you can't see any kadamba trees because they all disappeared. But sometimes when some great soul would come and plant a kadamba tree here. Now, tomorrow is Gopastami. So Radharani is going to be dressed as a cowherd boy tomorrow, holding a calf. We do have the calf from last year.
I'm gonna go out herding today.
Sandy's going to try and find another calf today.
That's kind of been in my bed.
Huh? What?
The last year's calf kind of has been in and out of different beds.
All right. Okay. So it's a very nice story about why Radharani is wearing a cowherd dress and holding a calf. And that we'll hear from Gurudev tomorrow.
We need sweet rice.
What?
I need Rupa Goswami sweet rice.
Yes, you can get Rupa Goswami sweet rice today. Just go right up to Vasanti and she'll give it to you.
Tell us about it.
Sweet rice? Oh, the sweet rice. Yeah. So, Rupa and Sanatan were discussing Radha and Krishna's pastimes, and it came to, it's here also on the next page. Wait, because I want to get the details. I could tell the story, but I want to get specific subtleties. Anyway, so tomorrow's Gopastami. On the day of Gopastami, the Brijabasis bring small Brijabasi boys dressed like Krishna and Balaram from Nandagaon to this place. And they stage a program of congregational singing called Samaj. They also worship the cows beautifully and feed them grass and jaggery. And Vasanti's going to try and get a cow. Adjacent to Terkadamba, to the west, is the Bhajan Kuti of Sri Rupa Goswami, as you just offered your obeisances. And he often performed bhajan here at this secluded place. Now it's not even secluded anymore because so many pilgrims go there. And he came here to remember the pastimes. He also composed many of his treasured books here. So again, Gurudev is saying, whenever the sentiments of separation from Radhika came up, then verses of separation would emanate from his mouth. And at that time, all the leaves of the Kadamba trees here would dry up in the fire of separation and fall to the ground? What? The leaves would fall to the ground. They would burn up because of his, Rupa Goswami's, sentiments of deep separation from Radharani. And when the meeting of the divine couple manifested in his heart, he recited verses of that meeting, and the Kadamba trees would sprout new leaves. Once, Sanatana Goswami came here to meet with Srila Rupa Goswami. They began to talk about Krishna's ambrosial pastimes and became so absorbed that they forgot about the time. So now it's the afternoon, and they didn't take lunch. And then their absorption went down a little bit in the afternoon. And Rupa Goswami thought, it is time to honor prasad, but I have nothing to offer Srila Sanatana Goswami. So this caused him some concern. So just then, at that very same moment, a beautiful girl in ordinary dress came there and said to Rupa Goswami, Baba, my mother just sent some rice, milk, and sugar. Quickly make sweet rice and eat. Saying this, she left, only to return a short while later. Then she said again, Baba, because you're talking, you have no time to cook, so I'll cook for you. She collected some dry cow dung patties that were nearby and produced a fire simply by blowing on it, just by breathing. In little time, she presented Sri Rupa Goswami with very sweet and fragrant sweet rice and said, Baba, offer this to Thakurji and quickly take some yourself. I must go, or else my mother will chastise me for taking so long. And the beautiful girl departed. Sri Rupa Goswami offered the sweet rice to Krishna and placed it before Sanatana Goswami. Upon eating the sweet rice, transcendental visions, or sportis, of Radha and Krishna manifested in the hearts of both brothers. They began to lament, calling out, O Radha, O Radha. Sanatana Goswami said, I have never tasted such sweet rice. Rupa, did you desire something to eat? That Kishori was none other than Radha herself. In the future, don't trouble her like this by having a desire. Rupa Goswami began to lament, understanding his fault. It wasn't really a fault. When he took a little rest, Srimati Radhika appeared in his dream and pacified him with sweet words. There was no fault. So now we're going to go, which is right nearby. We're going to go to Nandabag. What does Bag mean?
Garden.
Good. So this garden was full of lush green trees and creepers laden with many varieties of fruits and flowers. One of Nanda Maharaj's cowsheds, where Krishna and Balaram milked the cows and also practiced wrestling with the cowherd friends, was also here. Radhika used to come along this path together with her friends on the way from Javat to Nandagaon. They had to pass this halfway point. Once, Radhika and her Sakis were coming to Nandabhavan to cook. Some distance from this place, they saw Krishna and the cowherd boys milking the cows. Lalita said, we should take another path. Don't keep going in that same direction. Braj's crown jewel of debauchees is looking towards us with greedy eyes while he milks the cows, and he will certainly tease us in one way or another. But Radhika insisted, what can that debauchee do to us? We should fearlessly take this path. Stand up. Jai. Shri Shri Radharaman Bihari Jeev Ki Jai. She and her friends proceeded to walk in Krishna's direction. As Radhika came close, Krishna aimed a current of milk from the udder of the cow at her face. And everybody began to laugh. With knitted eyebrows, Radhika glared at Krishna and continued on her way. As she walked, somehow her pearl necklace broke. Somehow means she went like this, and the pearl necklace broke and fell to the earth, scattering here and there. So she sat down to collect them. The Sakis understood her heart and knew that on the pretext of picking up the pearls, she was actually beholding Krishna until he was out of sight. Remembrance of this pastime is like an ocean, and Sri Rupa Goswami has placed many such oceans in the pot of his Ujjvala Nilamani, which I hope will get soon. In other words, in his books, he has described these vast pastimes in a few words. Let's see how much.
I think let's just go to Aishishwar.
What?
Let's just end with Aishishwar.
Oh, what about Uddhav Kari? Tomorrow? All right.
Where is Aishishwar?
Huh?
Where is Aishishwar?
Aishishwara Mahadev. Ashishwara. Ashisheshwara. Ashisheshwara Mahadev. So a short distance east of Nandabag is Ashisheshwara Mahadev and Ashisheshwara Kund. Parjanya Maharaj, who's he? Who's Parjanya Maharaj?
Grandpa.
Hmm?
Krishna's grandpa.
Mahadev is Shiva. But Parjanya Maharaj is who?
Nanda Baba's daughter.
Nanda Baba's father. He used to bathe here and worship Ashisheshwara Mahadev, who fulfills all desires. He easily becomes pleased, even by a little worship, and he bestows blessings. The Sanskrit word for blessing is ashish, ashisha, by which all one's desires may be fulfilled. Some Brajbasis also say that it was by the blessings of Ashisheshwara Mahadev that Parjanya Maharaj had 5 sons endowed with all good qualities and had such a highly qualified grandson as Krishna. Now we're going to take darshan of Ashisheshwara Mahadev. We can also see Ganesh here. We can also see Nandi, Lord Shiva's bull. We can see Parvati here. So let's bow down to Lord Shiva and pray to him, since he fulfills all desires just by a little bit of worship. Let's pray for Radha Dasyam. Brajmandala Parikrama Ki Jai. Nandagaon Ki Jai. All the beautiful places that we just went to, Ki Jai. Kartik Brat Ki Jai. Niyam Seva Brat Ki Jai. Ujjaiswari, Kriyeswari, what other Eswari is she? Pramodakadaneswari. Srimati Radhika Ki Jai. Okay. So we have just been in many of her Pramod Kanan, means her gardens here and there. Okay. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gora Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. So, everyone, whoops, is it off? Let's turn off the live stream.